In this tutorial, I'm showing you how to build a form using AI and have n8n send responses to a Google Sheet. So we'll be using Weavly, which is an AI form builder. It kind of works like you would expect. So you can just prompt and it will build you a form and then you can tweak it as much as you want. And then, of course, we'll be using n8n afterwards. So let's say that I'm looking for a registration form for my birthday, for example. So registration form for my birthday party. We'll keep it pretty basic and then see what it comes up with. And we'll use that as a basis to then send our responses to Google Sheets. So let it work for a while. It's then going to use that prompt and build a form for us. So here we go. We have name, email, number of guests, dietary restrictions, and then a thank you page. Could potentially make this a bit more fun, make the background visual more fun and birthday-like. And then basically the questions are good enough. At least for this tutorial, it's definitely good enough. So there we go. It's updating something, the visuals to being more birthday-like. And then maybe we'll change the theme to have it on our left. So this is essentially our form, right? So we have a simple birthday registration form, number of guests, dietary restrictions. Okay, so this is the form that we want to use to collect the responses and send them to Google Sheets, and we'll be using n8n to do so. So if we head on over to n8n, the first thing is, of course, making sure that community nodes are enabled in your admin panel. So n8n recently launched community nodes for everybody. So for those that are on the cloud hosted plans, it's just a toggle that you need to set up. It's still in beta for the moment as I'm shooting this video, and this will allow you to use the Weavly community nodes. So let's go ahead and create ourselves a new workflow, and then I'll show you how to set that up and how that works. So essentially, if you're looking for your triggers, when you type in Weavly, you can see a trigger right here, and this is going to be triggered every time a new form response comes in. So every somebody registers for your birthday party, that will trigger this node inside of your n8n workflow, and then of course we'll want that in our Google Sheet. So the first step is setting up your credentials. So what you need for this is a personal token. So if we head on over back into Weavly and we go into the dashboards under the settings, you'll be able to set this up. So if we go to settings, personal tokens, and then right here, you can set up a personal token, which is a sort of an API key. I already created one for n8n, so we just copy this to our clipboards and I can paste this in here. So go ahead and press save. It's going to test to make sure that everything works correctly. And then once that is done, we can go select the team from which we want to listen to form responses. And of course, we can select our actual form. So we'll be looking for our birthday party registration form. If the form doesn't show up in the dropdown, you might need to close and reopen this trigger node. And then that's basically it. So what we can already do is test to see what is going to happen. So let's execute this step and then head on over to Weavly again and use this link to fill in a dummy registration. So let's open it up in our browser. Provide our name. So provide my name, my email address, my personal email address. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Number of guests. So they say that there's 2 of us. Veggie. Let's say we're vegetarian. Press the submit button, and then automatically this is going to trigger this node inside of n8n. So at this point, we have all of the data that we need from our registration. So the next step, of course, is sending that data to our Google Sheet. So I created a Google Sheet for this occasion. It basically keeps the same columns as our responses. Could have more columns, of course, of name, email, the guest, and the diet. And automatically, when we get a response, we want to go that into the Google Sheet. So this is probably know if you're using n8n for a while, there's a built-in Google Sheet node, and then you need to, of course, select the right document in the right sheet, and we'll be able to map our form responses to our Google Sheets columns. So it's fetching the columns. And in here, we can just drag essentially our columns and our form responses. So name is here, number of guests, that's this one. We have our email, which is right here. And then, of course, our dietary restriction is going to be this one. So that's essentially it. We're ready to go live with this. So let's press save and let's put this on active so that we start listening for the form responses inside of Weave. So let's redo this, reload our form right here, and then we'll fill this in again. So still haven't changed my name, nor have I changed my email address. And then we'll also the same thing right here. Okay, so we press submit, and then automatically this data is going to flow into our Google Sheets. As you can see, comes right in while I'm speaking. So essentially everything has been set up correctly. And if we go back into n8n, we can see from the executions that this just fired right now with the values that we provided. So this is, of course, extremely basic. Your form submissions go straight into Google Sheets, but we could make it a lot more complex. Well, essentially, you know how an n8n works, so we could have AI in between. We could do different things, but that's the essential setup. If you like these kind of tutorials, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to the channel.